Tell me I'm the only one. 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 Tell me the only
Welcome to the VRCade Podcast, a podcast by arcades for arcades. Today, our guest is Collin from Enversed in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. How are you doing, Collin? Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And also, my colleague is Chun, my co-host. How are you doing today?
Doing really good. Thank you, Serge. How about you?
Yeah, doing really well, It's really good to have you on because we haven't had anybody from your side of the world on our podcast before. So thank you very much. Shall we just get started and just tell us about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, so hello, my name is Collin. I'm 32 years old. I live in a little town called Best, which is very close to Eindhoven. And our VR arcade called Enversed is situated in Eindhoven. I work there as a team leader. I've worked there for the past 2 years now. And yeah, I've been managing the place a little bit. I've been working my way up, so to speak, and I'm here to answer a bunch of your questions. Yeah.
Excellent. And tell us about Eindhoven and something unique about your town.
Well, Eindhoven is the birthplace of where Philips, the electronics company, where the electronics company started.
Mm-hmm.
They started off producing the light bulbs, so that's why it's called the city of lights. So if you ever, when you ever come down, we have something called Glow. That's like one time a year where they hang up lights all around the city, and they have like different light shows you can admire. It's also a town that has ASML, which is probably the most important company in all of the Netherlands. It's a lithography company, or they produce lithography machines, which are the machines that produce high-end chips. So they make the machines that make the chips, and these chips are produced somewhere in Taiwan. So we have a close relationship with Taiwan, and that's made our city very rich, at least as far as I can tell.
Great. So, at the moment you work in a VR arcade, and I'm wondering, what was your first gaming experience in general? It doesn't have to be VR related.
Yeah, so my first gaming experience was when I was really young. I think probably 6, 7, 8 years old. This is what I can remember, at least. I had a Game Boy with, I think, Pokemon Yellow on it, and I was so goddamn hooked to that game.
Yeah.
I used to play day and night. I'd bring it with me to school. I'd played with all my friends, and that's kind of got me started off being a big fan of gaming. I'm sure I've had experiences before because I have like an older brother who's also been into games before I was. So, I mean, I think we've had also a few different consoles back in the day, like the Super Nintendo. We've also had like a Sega. It's called a Game Gear, which is like an even older handheld than a Game Boy. We used to play Sonic on that, and that's probably been one of my most memorable experiences. Probably playing Pokemon all day. That's I think where my addiction started with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, go on.
That's where my addiction started. Probably
Okay.
was with Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, I had the Game Gear. I used to take it everywhere with me. I love that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like that was like this,
yeah,
and you had to put like these thick batteries in them, and that last for like 1 hour or 2 hours, and they'd be already be drained.
yeah.
You had to buy new ones. So yeah,
The good old
Do you
days.
the
do you
good
still
old
own
days.
some of
Yeah.
the hardware?
Excuse me.
Do you still own some of the hardware that you used to play with?
I still have my little turquoise colored Game Boy here somewhere, but I'm thinking we also have the Game Gear somewhere. I don't think we've ever got rid of it. All my older consoles, I think I got rid of. I think the first ever console I bought was a PlayStation 2, but I sold it off. I still have my PlayStation 3 here somewhere. I sold off my PlayStation 4. I've built my very own like super high end gaming computer, so that's kind of been satisfying all my gaming needs so far. And yeah, other than that, I don't really own that much. Oh, I also have a Switch, but I gave that to my sister because I haven't played with it for the past year or two. Now she's really into it, so yeah, she can have it.
What game are you playing at the moment then on your high end PC? What are you hooked on?
It's every few weeks I'm playing something else. Right now, I got like it's called Chivalry 2.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of it? Yeah. So
Yes.
it was free with the Amazon gaming like if you have like the Amazon Prime subscription, you could have downloaded it for free. So that's been my hook for the past week now. So I've been playing that every night with my friends, which is a lot of fun. Decapitating people's arms and legs and heads and all that kind of jazz. But to be honest, I think the most amount of the game I've played the most in my life was probably either World of Warcraft or League of Legends because I love to be like in the competitive scene. Yeah, playing competitive games like online games against other people. I really enjoy doing that, and yeah, I just really love ranking up and all that stuff. But I'm getting kind of older now, so like my competitive edge has I kind of lost my competitive edge a little bit. So now I just play online games just to have fun with friends, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I think like a few years back, I could have easily ranked up to platinum, diamond ranks, whatever, it felt really good. And now I'm like, damn, I just don't have the edge anymore.
Mm.
And it's really hard to rank up. But cool. What about the virtual reality aspect? And how did you get into virtual reality or VR gaming? Was it because of the job, or did you already get
I've
to experience something earlier?
Yeah, so I've tried like a few VR I think like most people they tried it out here and there. Like if I remember like the very first I've tried like very first tech demos back in 2014 or 2015. I'm not sure like when the very first Oculus came out. I've tried like a tech demo when that came out. At Gamescom, I also tried like War Thunder VR, something like that. But I've never really had like an interest in VR to play it at home because I felt like all the games that came out for VR were very, let's just say, rudimentary, especially with the graphics. Like they felt like very simple, basic games. Like not something that I felt like it was worth investing money into. Um, and when I was in need of a job a few years ago, my friend was already working at this VR arcade, and he said, "Well, if you're looking for a job, I'm looking for people." And this was kind of right after COVID started dying down a little bit, so I started working full time at the VR arcade, and that was kind of my first time actually, trying high end VR games and also the VR, like the escape room experiences, which you can't really play anywhere else except for in a VR arcade. And yeah, it kind of changed my mind on how far along the technology has come and how far along the software has come as well, the games that's been created for it. I definitely still see the potential that VR can have, and yeah, it's also very, when you offer it to people that come over to our VR arcade, it's, you can also see it with other people when they try it for the first time. They also have, they all have that same reaction, like, wow, this is amazing. I didn't know this was already a thing, and how good everything looks. So yeah, everyone kind of gets that same reaction when you first try it.
And you mentioned that you actually started out. Now that you are the team leader now, but you started a little bit earlier with a different job in the same arcade. So were you a game master then, or?
I never worked at another arcade hall, so this is the only arcade hall I've worked at. But before this, the only gaming related thing I worked for was it was like a publication where they had their own website. So I used to write like news articles and reviews for this gaming website, but it was like very low traffic, but was still a job I had. But yeah, other jobs I've had, I've worked at like a post office. I've worked, other lower end jobs. So this is my first job that I've actually enjoyed working at, because I've loved games so much all my life. I just like working around this kind of stuff. Kind of makes it's more fulfilling to me than doing anything else.
And what kind of tasks do you do as a team leader in the arcade?
Well, I'm the person that has the responsibility to open the place, close the place. I read emails, like people have questions, I have to answer them. I answer the phone when there's any kind of problems. When guests come in, I have to solve them. If there's something wrong with the headsets or the PCs, I need to try and fix that as well. So I'm basically running around all day trying to fix everything and make everybody happy.
Sounds like Chan. You do the same.
Pretty
Yeah.
similar, and I'm really wondering about the repairing stuff. Did you teach yourself? Are you also watching some YouTube videos? I do that to fix some stuff because I don't have the pre-knowledge, but usually it works out. How do you handle this?
I've kind of taught myself how to fix stuff. When I first started out, I didn't know how to do anything, but usually, 90% of the time it's kind of, software related. So basically you just reset stuff, restart headsets, reset software, restart computers. And if it's not that, you just kind of plug like cables in and out, see if that works. So, in and out of the headset or in and out the back of the computer. So it's a lot of trial and error stuff. And usually when something's really broken, like sometimes we have like controllers break. I know how to open a few of them. HTC Vive controllers, they're really easy to open, and you can like replace stuff that's inside with other older broken controllers. We have like a landfill, like a whole box filled with broken and dead controllers. So we try to salvage what we can and try and fix what we can. If it's really unsalvageable, or we have to just buy new stuff, which is very sad because we have like these really high-end VR headsets like the Valve Indexes, and they have like really really good controllers. But these controllers, they have like one design flaw in them where the trigger in the back always ends up breaking. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but the trigger, it only lasts for like 6 months, and then something like a little plastic piece breaks inside of it, and then once that's broken, you can't fix it. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't open it up to reach behind the trigger. So it's kind of like a huge design flaw on Steam's on Valve's part, which is sad. But the good thing is you can replace them with like the older HTC Vive controllers. So that's what we've been doing slowly over the years.
So with the trigger this breaking, you also mean the Valve knuckle controllers, right?
Yeah, so they're like these
Yeah,
controllers with the things on the side, and yeah, the triggers in the back. They always break down.
yeah.
People are too rough with them. But I've also built a bunch of computers myself. I've made my own gaming computer. I've built gaming computers for my friends, so I know how to, open stuff up and tinker on stuff. So I'm not too yeah I'm not too afraid to do that to do that kind of stuff. Kind of taught myself over the years, and yeah.
Yeah, Chun's had a lot of experience, right, with the Valve Index knuckles breaking.
Yeah, we actually use the same equipment, and as you mentioned, Colin, we also struggle with the trigger buttons. I mean, everything else you kind of can replace and just use older controllers and salvage pieces from there. But when the trigger breaks, as you mentioned, there's just no way to replace that. And yeah, it's really a flaw. And
Yeah,
I think in the last 6 or 7 months, I had to buy like 3 new controls just because of the triggers. And yeah, it's really sad because the product itself is really good, but the controller, that's really annoying.
yeah, it's so sad because it's they're expensive controllers, and it's only just like a small plastic bit that breaks off, and you can't do anything about it. And if you try and send them back to Steam, they'll be like, well, yeah, you're kind of part of a company that has other people playing the controllers, so there's like a no warranty. You don't get any warranty on them, so they kind of screw you over on that part. But hopefully, maybe the next. I mean, I think there's rumors going out that Steam is making a new headset, so hopefully they'll be listening to feedback. I don't know if a lot of people have been complaining about the controllers, but hopefully they'll make it more easy to fix in the
Yeah,
future.
I know a lot of arcades and content creators that are just constantly going through the index controllers. I'm sure, hopefully, they will make it a bit more durable this next time round. Which
Yeah, I
is,
hope so.
yeah. Which other headsets do you use at your arcade?
We've slowly been making the transition from the HTC Vives and HTC Vive Pros over to the Valve Indexes. So I think we still have one last pair of HTC Vive headsets left, but they're like probably like 4 or 5 years old up at this point, so they're basically falling apart. So it's kind of like a backup pair of headsets. So there's like two different parts in our VR arcade. So there's one part where we have like 8 or 9 different rooms, and each room has their own 2 headsets, and the headsets inside those rooms are all most of them are Valve Indexes right now. And there's like another part we're trying to start up, which is called the VR free roaming experience.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, we're gonna start using HTC Vive. I'm kind of blanking on the name right now, but there are also HTC Vives, and they're wireless. So
I think it might be the Focus Free, right?
yes,
Right,
that's the
Focus
one.
Free.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we want the wireless headset, and we're also going to use
Constructs.
guns as well, which I'm also blanking on that name, but
Yeah,
it's all coming in. We're slowly building up. I mean, we already built up the area. We already have 4 headsets ready. We're going to add 4 more,
Mm-hmm.
and the guns they were supposed to come in last week, but they got caught up in customs, so not sure where they are now, but they're coming in this week. I'm going to try and set them up and see if we can start playing some games. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people say that free roam is the future of VR arcades. Would you agree with that?
After having testing it for so long, I I'm tending to think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's. I think a lot of people that come visit us, the wire really bothers them with the Valve Index. Even though, yeah, I mean, for us, it's not really that big of a deal, but they always get tangled up in them, and it's always like a frustration point. Um, but the wired version does give you like a clear connection. So the wireless headset we've been using, they are kind of, I would say, like 90% stable. So there are sometimes issues where you kind of have like a stuttering effect, or sometimes the world is kind of shaking around you. So I wouldn't say it's like 100% perfect experience, but I think, the better we get with this kind of stuff, the better we get like this wireless connectivity going. I think, yeah, it's going to have a big impact on how people see, VR entertainment. Because the the reason we're going to start this up this year is we have like this huge open space in our building, which we haven't used for almost anything. And now with the power of this new technology, we can create like big open gaming spaces, gaming worlds where you can just have these wireless headsets and just walk around freely, which is, yeah, kind of looks like the future if you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also the space is the biggest advantage that the arcades can have nowadays, because you can buy like your own headset and play at home with it. Even if you don't have a PC, the Quest is a super headset to just play it in room scale. Even if it's just low res, low poly games, it's still fun. But the arcades can offer the space that you usually don't have at home, and to also play with friends. So that's why I think also the free roam experience there is definitely really great.
Yeah, and that's just the thing, is that the most people that buy headsets, I believe they just play it for a few weeks and they already get,
Mhm.
bored of it, because like you said, there's not a lot of room in your space, in your home maybe, and it's also, most of the time it's single player, right? So you're not really playing with other people. And I think that's what, the VR arcade really offers. Yeah, like a unique experience, because you can come in with a group of 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, and all start playing together, and you can have it like a drink or some food afterwards. So yeah, it has a lot of potential, and I really like working where I'm working right now. So yeah.
Happy to hear that. Tell us more about the arcade then. Where is it located? And you mentioned that there's also a lot of space that you guys have. Is it some in a special place or?
Yeah. So we are located in Eindhoven, and we are located in a part of Eindhoven which is called Stripe S, which is a former industrial area where Philips used to have a bunch of factories. These factories have been, they're so old. They've been there since, I think, even before World War II. So yeah, it's kind of like an old industrial area, but uh, they're kind of repurposing all these factories and spaces they have there into uh, like different restaurants and shoppings, and for people also to live, like different studio apartments, all that kind of stuff. And there's this one building that we're located in. It's called Het Fame-gebouw. This is the Fame building, and we have the 7th floor, so we have the entire floor for ourselves. And because it's in this old industrial area, the rent is very cheap. So that's also like a reason why we're located there. It's like a very cheap space to be in. And yeah, we basically have all this space for ourselves, and we can utilize that space for VR, yeah, for VR entertainment. And I would say the only downside what we have is most people know us through online. They look up what fun things they can do in Eindhoven, because we're on the 7th floor of this building. We don't really have a lot of people coming out from the streets. We even have people living in the same building that come into our VR center, and they were like, "I didn't even know you guys existed here. I've been living in this building for 2 years. I had no idea." So um, the downside in being, yeah, where we are is we're also, the building's kind of regulated in a way, because it's kind of like a historical building, because it's been there since before World War II. Philips, it used to be an old Philips building as well, so Philips has a lot of history in the city that I'm in. And so we're not allowed to hang up a bunch of signage like billboards or anything, or any kind of commercial stuff, because they want the building to be in like its old. They want the building to look like it's always been, like it's, they just want to preserve it the way it is. So we have actually been thinking about moving to a different location, but that's all, still in a planning phase. We're not going to go anywhere for the next couple of years at least, but we're thinking about moving to a different location.
What
Yeah.
kind of location would it be? Would it be like more central, like on a high street or a shopping mall, or do you have any ideas? Or
Well, preferably they want to be on ground floor,
mm-hmm.
just so that they have more, people come out from the seats that they can walk in and see other people play. But the location that we're in right now is slowly becoming more and more expensive. So it used to be very cheap, and now, because I guess it's called gentrification, where it used to be cheap and now it's becoming more and more expensive. They found a few different locations. It's close to our location that we have now, and we're kind of in negotiation with the people that own those other spaces. So, but I'm not too sure about the specifics of those details, but that's what I've heard, that they're trying to look for a different location. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any competitors that you also have in Eindhoven that you need to, to look out for?
There is one competitor, like 5 minutes away from us, and it's called the Park Playground.
That's a chain, isn't it?
It is
That's
a chain,
yeah.
And I believe they have like 3 other centers inside the Netherlands. So I think one in Breda, one in Amsterdam, and I think one maybe one in Eindhoven, and then I think one maybe in Belgium as well. But I've heard things about that place that have not been too positive. Not to badmouth them or anything. I haven't been there myself, but we always hear from other people that come to our place, like, oh, that our place is so much nicer. So
Yeah, I think I get that also a lot, that the bigger chains and franchises, they just don't offer the same kind of quality. I mean, sure, they have like modern technology and stuff that maybe you cannot afford yourself, right? But
yeah.
I think from a customer standpoint, if it's more, homey and heartfelt, and if the people are there for you, I think that's the stuff that makes you really enjoy the session much more, instead of high tech gear and everything is just standardized.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to judge because I haven't been there myself. It's like, I don't want to badmouth other competitors or anything.
Sure.
So maybe if we just had, just some people that like to complain about things, but from what we like to offer at our place is we want to be as hospitable as we can. We are very personal with the groups that come in, so we always have crew members, explain everything, how everything works. They help people put on their headsets. They explain the controls. They explain the games. They get them food or drinks. So it really is a more personal experience. We just don't put people in a room and just leave them by themselves. We really want them to make them feel like they're kind of in their own living room, basically, and they're just trying out all this new kind of stuff that they've never tried out before. So we really like to prize ourselves on our hospitality.
Anything you want to tell us about the team that you have at Enversed, and with what kind of people that you're working with?
Yeah, so we work with a crew of, I would say, about 13, 14 people, maybe. So we have like 3 or 4 different team leaders, and we have a bunch of crew members. We have our CEO, and she is also kind of like managing the place now. We've been kind of restructuring how our organization works, because we've had like most people, I think, from COVID, we've had a very rough time getting through COVID. I wasn't there personally, but I've been working there since after COVID, and we've mostly been struggling with getting people to come in during the week. So during the week, like from Tuesdays to Fridays, it's always, fairly quiet, and then Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, it's always like fully packed. So that's because everybody has their time off. They come out and play. And during the week, we really rely on like business outings, company outings. And so, yeah, I'm kind of going off on a tangent again, but we've used to have more managers, more people from higher up, but they've been slowly either let go, or they've not been renewed their contract. So we've kind of been slimming down the organizations to kind of like the bare bones. And yeah, we're trying to make everything work as best as we can. Let's see, how can I rephrase that? We've noticed that having a bunch of different crew members work all day, with there only being a few people come in, has been costing a lot of money. So that's why we've tried to slim down as much as we can, restructuring the way the company has been run for the past year or two. They've been restructuring now, so we're not in danger of going bankrupt or anything like that. But we've had to think about how we're gonna move forward into the future with the concept that we have right now, because we do still see a lot of interest in VR. We do see the potential that VR can bring. So yeah, we're not gonna give up anytime soon, at least. Just gonna keep keep going at it. But yeah, as far as the team, they're a group of wonderful people, mostly young students. I'm probably one of the older one of the older people working there. And yeah, these young students, they all have their own busy lives as well, so they study or they have other jobs. So yeah, but they're very professional. They come in on time, and they're young people. They're cool to hang around with. And of course, if you work at a VR center, all the guests that come in are also people that come in that want to have fun. So it's yeah, it's always it's always fun at our center, at least.
Yeah, that's really good. It's good to have like that young energy there as well when people come in, and it keeps you young as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of the one of the guys, one of the girls. Yeah. Yeah.
Something really special that I saw at your website is that you offer lunch and dinner at the arcade. Is that correct?
Yes, so we have a few different options. So we have like a huge cafe area where people can sit down, eat and drink. But they also can eat and drink inside the VR room. So we have like a couch, we have like a huge table they can put their stuff on, and but for the stuff that we offer from ourselves, we can only offer like soft drinks, coffee, and small snacks like chips, chocolate, all that kind of stuff. Because we don't have a license to sell alcohol. We don't have a license to make or prepare, food. So we don't really have a kitchen at our place. So if we do have big groups that want to come in and they also want to eat, we have a few different options for them. So if they want to have like a hot meal, they can either order catering with us so that we can set up a catering deal beforehand, so they have like warm food, or they can go out after they've had their VR experience or before they've had their experience. They can go out to one of our other partners, like different restaurants that we work together with, that we have like special arrangements for them. So if they book through us, they could get like a deal with one of these other external partners that we have. So that's usually how we organize things around the food and drink section.
And do the caterers promote your arcade as well on their side?
That's a good question. I'm not too sure about that, because we've been working with one caterer for the past 3 or 4 years, but I don't. It's like a really fancy restaurant, like a fancy catering business. So I'm not too sure if they're promoting our VR arcade. I'm not sure if that falls in line with their with their target audience.
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
it's always worth asking though.
Yeah. We've set up a new partnership with this new catering business, which is much cheaper than the other one that we've been working with, because we usually have been getting complaints about how expensive our catering plus VR bundle deal was.
Right. Yeah.
It was going over like 60 or 70 euro per person, which if someone just wants to have a quick meal, it's like already it's way too much for them. So now we finally found a different catering option that offers cheap and good, delicious food.
I was imagining, like, Collin being there somewhere at the back and cooking up stuff and serving it to the customers. But then I guess it's just a cooperation with other companies and
Yeah,
caterers.
I'd love to do that, but it's we got our hands tied behind our back. It's
Yeah.
something with these licenses that's the owner of this building doesn't want to give to us. I'm not really too sure why, but it's something that we don't have.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why we also want to move to a different location, so that we can start selling our own food and our own drinks, because that's one huge missed opportunity,
Definitely. Yeah.
because you can earn so much revenue with selling food and drinks. So maybe sometime in the future we can get around doing that.
Yeah, and if
Cool.
if you if you have the kitchen there and you do good food, people will just show up to eat as well. So just give you that extra bit of revenue, and then they might inquire about VR, and you get customers from there as well.
Exactly, and it's people are never quite too sure about VR. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I really like to do that or not. But if you have good food or good drinks,
Yeah.
it's like they'll always come for that. That's not a problem for them. And then the VR is like just an added extra bonus for them. They can try out as long as there's good food. But for now we have to do it the way we're doing it right now.
So then let's talk about the games at your location. What kind of games do you offer? Is there one game that you would say that is the most popular one and people are coming just for this one?
So I would say we have 2 or 3 different options. One is what we call the party bundle, and the party bundle is just a collection of smaller arcade games, and these are usually for groups of like 4, 5, 6 people. The other option that we have are the escape room games. The escape room games can also be done with 2, 4, 6 people. However, I think when it comes to popularity, I think the escape room games are slightly more fun. That has people slightly more engaged, because it's like a experience that you have the headset on the whole time, so you don't really take it off for like 40 minutes to like 1 hour. And the mini games, the party games, there's like you put on the headset, you play a game, you take turns, and that's kind of how we've been doing it. But in terms of fun, I personally like both the escape room games and the arcade games. The thing is, with the escape room games, once you've played them one time, you've seen the experience. You don't really have to replay it, so it doesn't really have that replay value. But if you're playing the arcade games, it's something that you want to keep getting better and better at. So a game like Space Pirate Trainer, where you have to shoot robots out of the sky, or game like Synth Riders, you just want to keep coming back and playing it so that you can improve your ability, improve your skill. Plus, it's also their multiplayer games. You can play in arcade games as well, so you play against each other or with each other. It's hard to say which game is the most popular. Like I said, the escape room games we offer them from Ubisoft. So we have the Escape the Lost Pyramid, Beyond Medusa's Gate, the Dagger of Time, and we have a bunch of RV games as well. Say RVI, I'm not sure what they're called, but I always call them RV games. They offer experiences like Prison, Alice, Mission Sigma, Cyberpunk. Yeah, these are all, great games, great experience to try out. And yeah, we work for the party bundle for the arcade games. We work together with a company called Springboard Vertigo Games, and they have like this huge library of arcade games that you can just click to activate the license. You download and install the game. You can try it out, and it immediately works. And this has been like a huge game changer for us. Sorry, no pun intended. But but we used to have to contact developers directly, I believe, to get licenses for games. And since we've been working together with Springboard, we have like a huge new library of games that we can offer to people. So when I first started working there, we've only had like 5 different arcade games that we used to offer, and there wasn't really any variety in that. And yeah, since we've had Springboard, I made it my personal mission to download and install as many different games that I think people will like. Obviously, we have to keep in mind if the games are fun, easy to play, preferably multiplayer, easy to play, easy to pick up, because you're always working with people that they probably never play games, or they don't play games at home. They don't play with VR as well. So we always want the most easy experience as we can possibly offer. Because if you have people that are like too frustrated about trying to memorize like 3 or 4 different buttons, that's like a customer that's probably going to leave a bad review at the end of the day. So you just want to offer them something at their level, and then slowly work your way up from that. And even if you offer them the most easy experience you can and it's still not working, we also always try to be I'm struggling to find the word. We try to be as forgiving as possible. So if they feel like this is not the experience for me, this is something I probably can't do, then it's it's something that we can offer money back, or we could say, oh, you can try something else, because we don't want people to come here and try something and be like so disappointed that they never want to come back again. So that's coming back to us trying to be as hospitable as we can. And also, like I said before, we're also starting up the free roam games now. And the free roam games, the one that we offer are for now only 6 meters by 6 meters. So we can offer for 4 players. You can play Arizona. You can play After the Fall. We have 2 different escape room games, and we have the 2 other kids shooting games. Kid shooters, like easy shooters. But that's kind of still in. We just started offering those experiences, and we're still kind of testing the waters, see if people like it or not. We eventually want to move into the much bigger area, which is 20 meters, 30 meters by 20 meters. The only experience we can offer in that big space right now is something called the museum experience, where you have to walk through different levels. But we're in development of a new game has going to have 4 against 4 people that play a shooting game against each other. So that's something that we're in development, and we can't wait to offer that to the public as well.
So you're actually developing a game in-house, basically?
Yes. So something that I have not mentioned before, but we are Enversed Entertainment, and we
Hmm.
have a separate company called Enversed Studios, and they actually do development. So they've developed a few of the arcade games we offer. They're also developing the free roam game that we're going to offer as well.
Nice.
Uh, yeah, so the entertainment center is actually, it kind of started off as a side project of this studio. So the Enversed Studios was there before Enversed Entertainment was there. And Enversed Studios started off as a gaming studio. They made games, but they also made like business application stuff. So the guy that works, he's like the head there. He's also been like a former architect, I believe. So they made a bunch of stuff in VR, like models of houses, models of trains. They've also made like training for like fire extinguisher stuff, or like fire safety stuff, that kind of thing. So they don't only make games; they do like a bunch of different stuff as well. So now they're in trying to develop this VR free roam game, and hopefully we will be able to showcase that within the next few months. And I'm personally very excited because I'd like to I'd like to play in that big open space and shoot at other people, see what that see what that feels like.
Yeah, sounds really cool. Sounds really cool. Have you actually? You don't have to tell us about the game itself, but have you experienced it yet? Like what there is so far? Have you been inside the game or?
I've seen the level that they developed. So they developed a level, so I was able to walk through this entire level. I also gave them some feedback because yeah, it wasn't perfectly lined up with what our space was. So and another thing is that we have these huge pillars inside our open space,
Ah,
and
okay.
so we really have to make sure that people that are inside the game, that they don't move through these pillars, because otherwise they might hurt themselves. So
Hmm.
inside the game they have to have like walls or boxes that they know that they're not supposed to walk through, otherwise they might hit one of these pillars. So we're going to see if people end up not hurting themselves. We've taken precautions with putting like this foam padding around these pillars so that people can't horribly hurt themselves. But we still have to we have to test this thing out. Let's keep it at that. We got to test it out and see if people don't harm themselves.
Yeah,
Seems like
that
a.
sounds
Sorry,
cool.
go on, Chan.
No, just want to say it sounds really cool. I mean, I would also be glad to test it if I would ever get the opportunity. It sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, you should swing by Eindhoven and say hello. Try it
Hopefully
out.
one day, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Usually at the end, I always ask what the future plans are, but I think now you really told us a few things. But instead, I'm going to ask you, what are the future plans for you yourself? Are you, trying to get into a different role, trying to get something new to the arcade?
Um, for me, I just want to see the free roam develop itself further. See if we could get more and more games that we can offer there. For my personal work at Enversed, I want to stay a team leader, but I also want to dive into like the more marketing stuff. Start making more videos. Start to create more awareness of our brand and our location, because I feel like that's something we're really missing out on, which I'm thankful for you guys for asking me to be on the podcast. I guess that's another thing that can help us reach out to more people that are interested in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're very thankful for you coming on and telling us about the arcade and the game you're working on. It sounds really interesting.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you very much as well, Mr. Chan, as always.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Collin, for being part of the podcast. And I'm also really looking forward to what you guys will offer in the future.
Yes, thanks for having me as well.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We will see you in the next episode. So if you're ever in Eindhoven and you are looking for an arcade, go and check out Enversed. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.